Hello and welcome to this presentation on revising the contrast essay. Um, there are a couple of issues that I want to address here, and I think they are best addressed through a discussion of the nature of online learning. I produced a video that's in the assignment resource book in Module 4, showing you how to put together a body paragraph for this essay. Now, since that is a YouTube video that's on my YouTube channel, I can check the statistics on viewing. There were only 8 views. Now, more than 8 students turned in an essay. So if I were to assume that each view was simply one student one time looking at the video, that still leaves out 6 students. The video exists to tell you exactly what I want you to do. And what I want you to do is what every professor is going to want you to do. This is not unique to me. In addition, those 8 views averaged out in terms of duration to 52% of the video itself. It's a little over 10 minutes, which means that, let's say, there were 8 views by 8 different students. That means that the average student watched only half the video. So I do want to address, as you can see here on the screen, something that if you're going to continue taking online classes, you need to understand. Okay, you are the learner and you have to learn. Unlike in a face-to-face class where you can talk to your professor, where you can ask questions. In my face-to-face 1001 classes, I sit down and I work with my students on their papers. I love doing that. I mark up their papers with them. I ask them questions. We redesign paragraphs. It's very good. I can't do that in an online class. It is physically not possible. I've met with some of you, but only one person wanted to meet with me prior to the submission of this first draft. So, for this reason, because I know that most of you I'm not going to hear from, I've created the assignments and the instructional material on my courses on Moodle to make sure that everything that I'm looking for is very clear. So it's important for you to realize all the material is important. There's nothing that you can overlook. If you haven't looked at the material and you think I know what I'm asking for, you're most likely wrong. If you're not sure what I'm looking for, it's up to you to ask me. I don't know if you understand the assignment or not. Everything that I put up there makes me think that the assignment is clear, and I am aware that there's always going to be general misunderstandings, mainly because you students come into this class with certain writing habits. They have a tendency of writing a certain way. They've always done it. They've done it in high school, whatever the case may be. And it has, quote unquote, worked for them. And so they're always going to revert back to that. But you have to understand, if what you did in high school was good enough, you wouldn't be taking 2 writing classes in college. All students have to take 2 writing classes in college. So that should tell you that what it is that we're looking for in college, and what prospective employers are looking for in the professional world, is not high school writing. So online learning is for the brave, those who can ask questions and seek help when they need it. For the motivated, those who are willing to spend the time to learn the material as best they can for themselves. And the meticulous, those who go through the material point by point and learn. If you can't do that, an online class is not a good class for you. Now let's talk about what it is I'm looking for the revisions. For the introduction, as always, the thesis, it needs to be the last sentence of the introduction. That's going to be the case for every essay you write. You're writing about 2 specific restaurants. You're not writing about chains. You're not writing about Wendy's in general versus McDonald's in general. You're writing about a specific location of a Wendy's restaurant and a specific location of a McDonald's restaurant. So what do I need to know about these 2 restaurants? I need to know their names. I need to know where they're located, not just in general. And I need to know what type of food they offer. Once you've given me those things, then move on to the thesis statement. Don't waste time. Say what needs to be said. That's what I'm trying to teach you. Now, here's your thesis. A is a better restaurant than B because of the food, service, and atmosphere. I said in the assignment that the 3 points of contrast are food, service, and atmosphere. There is no other option. Furthermore, I said this is the kind of thesis that I want to see. This is it. This is all I need to see as a reader to know what is going to happen in the essay. So don't write anything more than that. Simply tell me which is better, and then list the criteria of judgment. Your topic sentences. All right, the topic sentence should be the atmosphere or the service or the food, depending on which paragraph you're writing. At A is blank, okay? Where blank is one word, a one-word characteristic of the atmosphere or the food or the service. So the atmosphere at Buffalo Wild Wings is chaotic, right? That's it. If you don't have a specific point, an idea that you're trying to show, then none of the evidence has any purpose. I don't want to know that they're different. I know they're different. Every restaurant is different. The purpose of the essay is to show me which one is better. And you show me which one's better by saying that the atmosphere is better because of this. So, the atmosphere at Buffalo Wild Wings is chaotic. The atmosphere at Chili's is fun. I really don't care what the characterization is. I really don't care. What I care about is that you're stating a judgment, and then you're supporting that judgment with evidence. And we'll talk about evidence in a moment. Once you're done with the evidence for the atmosphere at restaurant A, let's say again the atmosphere at Buffalo Wild Wings. On the other hand, the atmosphere at Chili's is fun. From there, you of course will give me the evidence. When you're done, be done. The evidence: provide only that which can be seen, heard, tasted, or felt. For service, I want to see servers doing or performing good or bad service, right? For the atmosphere, I want to see, I want to hear the atmosphere. Show me what's good or bad about the food. Your job in this essay is to give me something that creates a picture in my mind. And that picture needs to conform to your judgment of the particular criteria, the food, or the service, or the atmosphere about a particular restaurant. That is the scope of this essay. Along the way, you should avoid some words that don't really mean anything. Words like unique, perfect, authentic, super, best, astonishing, phenomenal. Words like that. They don't convey anything. I often come across papers, and this batch was no different. Somebody saying that a restaurant is an authentic Mexican restaurant. What does that mean? I mean, what does authentic mean? It's like saying that Prejean's is an authentic Cajun restaurant. I don't think Prejean's is an authentic Cajun restaurant. I certainly don't cook my gumbo or my crawfish étouffée or any number of things like they do. Right? I don't know that it's necessarily authentic. But even if it is, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't convey whether or not the food is good. It can be authentic and crappy at the same time. You're trying to show me that something is good and then another thing is not good, is bad. Also, avoid saying things like, avoid using not. You shouldn't be using not in this essay at all. If you say that something is not something or something doesn't have something, then you're not telling me anything about that thing. You're just saying what it doesn't have. I need to know the character of what you're describing. And so, of the conclusion, restate the thesis in so many words. You don't have to do it exactly the same way, but you can just repeat the thesis. I don't care. But from then on, leave the restaurant that you're not recommending, the restaurant you think is no good. Leave it alone and tell me about additional information about the restaurant that you recommend. Any kind of specials, any kind of issues with parking in the event that perhaps there's limited parking space. Anything that would be important to somebody who is planning to go to the restaurant, because ultimately that's the purpose. You're trying to convey to a reader that this is a restaurant to go to and that one is a restaurant to avoid. So if you're recommending that I go to restaurant A, then tell me more about restaurant A that would be helpful for me or perhaps important for me to know if I were to go to that restaurant. For example, I often use uh, Tsunami in downtown Lafayette. I think it's a good place to go for sushi, but there are a couple of things I'd make sure to let the reader know about that. For one thing, they don't have any parking. You either have to use their valet service, you have to park on the street, which is very difficult to do in downtown Lafayette, or you have to go park in the spooky parking lot um, off of you know behind just really on Congress. So and then walk to the restaurant. That would be an important thing to know if I'm not familiar with the restaurant. So that would be important to know. I would also recommend that while the atmosphere is festive or lively there, it's probably a little too lively for a first date with somebody because it is difficult to hear each other when you're talking. Oh, by the way, another thing to avoid is things like um, everyone, always, etc. Where you see that the waiter always does X. That's not true. I I can guarantee you that if I went to the restaurant and watched long enough, I would see an exception to that rule. Try to avoid making claims that you can't prove. All you need to do is to say that the waiter is attentive. You don't have to say the waiter is always attentive. It's an extra word, and it calls into question your judgment. We're looking to see somebody who is rational and very straightforward in the reasons for the judgments they hold. So please bear this in mind in the revisions.